So they literally got like loaves of bread, hung them around his neck, and gave him a sign that said "Gingerbread Man" because he's ginger.
Yeah.
So
I remember another time I went to a fancy dress party dressed as loaf of bread. Fuck me, lads. The birds are all over me.
Anyone have any other traditions?
Hello and welcome to episode number 92 of Preachin on Preacher at the Movies. This week we're going to be talking about They Live, the John Carpenter cult classic. In part 2 we're going to be talking about Halloween traditions, or what you did for Halloween, because it was last week.
Happy Halloween!
Honey, yes. My name is Hayden Ralph.
Michael Ormond.
Joe Lennon.
And of course,
I am Ken.
See, I remembered.
Thank you very much, Aidan.
I love you, Ken.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, how was your week?
Fine.
No, fine.
Weeks.
That
was
that's right. It was 2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we must
how were your
explain
weeks?
this. We literally couldn't come up with a day last week where where all of us could be in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was unfortunate at the time and didn't work out because I was out Thursday and Friday. You had dogs to mind on Wednesday, and then the weekend just didn't work. So it was like.
And on Tuesday, just to full disclosure,
Aidan was too busy watching the Bake Off.
No, we could have gone a bit later, if it wasn't for these two Cinderellas not being able to stay up past midnight.
Hey, we're looking at very long shifts.
It's not our fault. You don't want spoilers from a shit cooking show.
Hey, it's not shit.
It's not shit.
It is shit.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
I fucking hate it.
I like it.
Do you really?
It can be recorded.
Oh, I don't even. I like baking. I haven't done it in fucking years, but I enjoy baking. But I thought it's just a good show, and unlike a lot of other competition shows like X Factor and stuff, there's no like venom and there's no fucking bullshit.
There fucking is. People poison the soufflés all the time.
No, they don't.
I'm not a big fan of baking. I like getting baked. Bad joke.
Wow.
Wow.
Think you're a badass.
Wow.
Such
Wow.
badass.
You're such a badass.
Wow.
Wow.
Badass.
I don't know.
Wow.
I can see the appeal of a.
Of getting stuck.
No, I can see the
I can see the appeal of getting high as shit.
I can see the appeal of a good-natured competition show as opposed to the cutthroat sob stories that have
that's what I mean,
become what those shows are now. It's like if you don't have 6 dead grandmothers and a sick puppy, you just don't have a chance of winning most of it.
I'm here today because my mom's in hospital. She's dying of some disease, and I need to be here today. It's like golden. That sepia tone as it comes through across the thing as she's crying.
Yeah.
This one's for you, Mom.
And what's great about in the Bake Off, for example, if somebody's fucking up and
they actually take the piss out of them, which is great.
No, but not even that, but if somebody's fucking up and they're really struggling to get to the end, and there's other people that are doing well for that particular round, they will go and help them. It's like, oh, what do you need me to do?
I just watch a porno to do that. If someone's struggling, someone else gives them a hand.
Oh, but anyway, it's a good show.
It's a different kind of Bake Off.
I like that show. Anyway,
but the whole premise of it is we didn't do it last week because Aidan wouldn't record his show, so we could come up here, do this, and then watch it after midnight.
I understand not wanting to be spoiled on a show that you've followed for an entire season.
A cooking show.
It's still a show.
I fear for that for next year. I genuinely fear for that kind of thinking next year with Game of Thrones. I know you get
we're gonna start recording the podcast on a Monday night.
Holy shit.
Every week.
I'm probably going to
that's
have
not going to happen.
Have 10. I'm going to have 10 late Sunday nights in a row.
You're watching the American.
Probably 8, wouldn't it, or 7? I think.
I think 7 or 8. Yeah, 7. I will sacrifice that one day a week.
I've done it even in the last season. I avoid all social media until Monday night till I sit down and watch it.
With Thrones, it's what you have to do.
Yeah, it's no
the last
way
season.
It.
Yeah,
has to be done. You have
They're
to
all going to die,
sacrifice.
and it's going to turn out that the plane didn't crash at the end. And
it's got the loss.
They didn't actually eat each other or something like that.
And they weren't related.
Yeah, exactly. Turns out they're just both.
It was a kid's dream. Someone was telling a kid a story.
Yeah,
It was actually Bram, and he still can walk, and he's just like, oh, fuck me, my head's killing me, that was a long sleep.
It's weird. It ends with someone telling the story, closing the book, and on the cover it says the never-ending story.
Never-ending story.
No, Bilbo Baggins slows the book and he's like, where to finish?
Jesus, the fourth age of Middle Earth was
Gandalf
really dark.
putting the pipe down going, shit, that's some strong stuff.
And we call this land Middle Earth.
Yeah. And he's like, Gandalf, you want to hit this? Don't tempt me, Bilbo. Yeah, that's
yeah,
how
it
it is.
zooms out from the map, and it's actually on the edge of Mordor.
Yeah, exactly.
They live.
But we-
1989.
So we
Oh,
had
sorry.
good weeks.
They live.
So that was, nothing else
Technically,
happened
they
this week?
didn't.
Oh, there's another thing that happened this week, which is amazing. The Spice Girls got back together.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you did
Oh.
want to tell this story, didn't you?
Yeah. Now, I like the Spice Girls.
Okay.
So they all
Aidan
got back
has front
together.
row tickets.
Typical. You like Bora. So let's go.
You're not going to let that one go.
It's maybe after next week. I'm actually
Yeah.
going just to get it over with now, just so Ken can just have his moment.
So I
and
love
just
your
shut
sex
the
tape.
Fuck up. About it afterwards. Sorry, Ken.
You have to print out your I Hate Borat t-shirts for next week.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ooh,
I
get me a
cannot
hoodie.
wait to redecorate this room.
It's like, why does it say fuck Borat instead of Borat? Anyway, yeah, so I shared it on Facebook saying, oh, it's supposed to go back together now. They are back together minus Victoria Adams or Posh Spice. Now, I don't know if any of you guys are
This
a
is
fan
like
of the
the
Spice
That's
Girls.
Westlife
not the Spice
debacle all
Girls.
over again.
Huh?
What?
That's not the Spice Girls then if she's not there. I know she can't fucking sing and all.
I know, it's like,
They're
say
really
you'll be
gonna-
there, but she said no. So
They're
Well,
really
they may as
gonna-
well just like stand a twig on the stage and just leave
They're
it.
really going to
Just
miss
didn't
the
know.
vocal range of Victoria.
Yeah.
if you were to pick one of them,
The
If you
most
to-
singing she did was when she was giving birth, for fuck's
Wow.
exactly. If you had to pick one of those five girls to not come back, you'd pick her.
Yeah, in fairness, I
You
probably would.
You'd
Yeah.
pick her.
sake. Yeah.
But I said it on
Yeah.
the book face, and then my sister-in-law was like, "Oh, it's not gonna be this. No, Victoria's not coming back. That sucks." And I was like,
Oh no.
"I was like, yeah, but like,
Wait for it.
I was like, no, it gets better." I was like, "Yeah, but I mean, it's it'd still be good, blah blah, whatever." And she said, "If you like the Beatles getting back together without John."
Whoa!
Hold the fuck.
I was told that story
Need a
this
minute.
morning, and I
Gonna-
had a very similar reaction.
Gonna need a minute. Got it. No.
Oh,
Oh.
now I'm a big fan of my sister-in-law, but that
Not
is-
anymore.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard her say in my fucking life.
Hey.
Like
that
the
was
Beatles
I'm sorry,
are back
Beckham.
without John.
That.
She is the John Lennon of the Spice Girls.
Holy
wrong on
shit.
so many
And
levels.
David Beckham is Yoko.
She's not even
Oh
the
my
Ringo.
God.
She's not even the Ringo. I think.
No, like-
seriously.
Like there's
Yeah,
I've-
hold on,
so many
don't
levels. Like
me.
number one, comparing the Beatles to the Spice Girls anyway is ludicrous. Obviously,
Yeah,
trying to
Spice
say
Girls
that-
are definitely so much better. No.
but trying to say that
Completely
Victoria
different
is
style
the
of music.
fucking, I know that, yeah, it's a really great comparison. But like trying to say that Victoria is the John Lennon of the Spice Girls, are you fucking for real? It's just a
No,
ludicrous.
he's the lead singer of NERD.
Yeah, that's how my dad pronounces his name as well.
I don't know if there's a proper punishment for
Wait,
stuff
can
like that.
Can we like get
Like-
a picture of like David Beckham and Victoria Beckham doing the Yoko and John? Not a famous picture of the two of them together.
Oh, where they're both naked.
Yeah, and just get Victoria and David Beckham just to do that, just as a comparison.
We should.
I want to
ask
see David Beckham in the nip. in fairness,
we
but
should
still.
ask them in our weekly conference call.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we
could- yeah, we could. We can get them a
yeah.
show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just thought I just had to tell that story.
Bitch needs to be slapped.
That was it.
Bitch
No,
needs to be put
seriously.
down.
You need to give her a backhander.
I didn't want to keep going on about it, but I was just like, I like the Spice Girls, but Jesus Christ!
Wait, did you say she was in your car when she said this?
No, she said it on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
She's wrong.
Imagine.
Like
if
I
she's
mean,
under-
no, like,
Get
you
out,
know the
get
way
out.
you're saying, oh, well,
Yeah, just leave
everyone's
Facebook.
valued their opinion. It's like I get that completely, but her opinion's wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean,
Like, you need no.
I mean, as we'll discover next week when we're doing
Delete
Borat,
that.
opinions are like assholes. Everybody has it. It's fine. And we always argue about on this podcast about one thing or another, but that was just a crazy statement. So I just thought that was fun to share. Crazy opinions.
All right, from crazy bitch.
No dumbass bitch. Crazy bitch.
But anyway,
Stupid.
before
no,
I
she's
have
not
an
a dumbass bitch,
aneurysm,
but that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, before I think about it too much and say some things that like she'll probably not like at all, we should probably get into our film, will we?
Yeah, so this week we watched.
I'd
They
actually
Live.
probably rather talk about that conversation than the movie, in fairness.
It's gonna be one of those episodes.
So-
I get the feeling.
This is going to be an interesting episode.
Initial thoughts, gentlemen, on this film.
bollocks.
Shite in a bucket?
Do you think so? Was that?
Did you like this film?
I will say, okay.
Did
so
you think of us in the WhatsApp group that we actually enjoyed the movie?
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did actually.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, I knew it. I
Yeah.
We
fucking
were
knew it.
taking the piss
Knew it.
completely.
Yeah.
I put 2 love hearts just
No.
up on the sign just to be like, no.
Mick, this was your pick, right?
This was my pick.
Why
Mixed
did you pick it?
so
Because
let
you
me
never
let me
seen
get
it
your
before.
Cult
opinion first.
classic. Had never seen it before and
Is
had
it a cult
heard about
classic?
it. Cult classic, yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally, there's an article on the front of
Very
IMDb
highly
at the
rated.
minute. It's like They Live and
It's one of the most influential films of the 80s and stuff. It was...
Stick in 28 Days on the list, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to do that. They Live and more alien invasion movies we love. Like literally front page of IMDb.
Okay.
So it's a cult classic. It's a film I've always wanted to see for ages. That fight scene
Yeah.
is very famous.
That stupidly long 40-minute fight.
Fuck me.
Over putting a pair of bleeding sunglasses on.
Fucking glasses on.
Have you ever
Oh.
seen, just a little bit of a side note, have you ever watched The Fast Show back in the day?
No.
No.
One of the running sketches, and I think maybe it's just on one episode they just did it. It was called The Long Big Punch Up 9. It's just 2 lads punching each other. And it just keeps
They're like
going to other
9 minutes.
sketches. Just goes to other sketches and keeps coming back to them. But once they're just on their knees, just like still... and they're both just exhausted.
I didn't notice this is a John Carpenter film, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, well, you can tell it's a John Carpenter film straight away because
really
the
long
theme
scenes.
song just continues throughout the entire
the whole
film.
thing.
Oh,
I
sweet
noticed that.
fucking
That's
Christ.
crazy.
The audio was an absolute embarrassment. Like,
So, yeah, sorry, just to come back to what I was saying,
The 40-minute fight scene.
No, so it was those reasons I'd wanted to watch it, because I'd heard cult classic, you know, that fight scene is very famous.
Yeah.
I like Roddy Piper as a wrestler and a
Yeah, keep it as a
performer.
wrestler.
Yeah.
Stick to what you know, son.
Yeah.
see why he
No
wasn't
wonder
in
he
many
didn't fucking
films.
talk much.
No wonder he died. That's very harsh. I
A little bit, yeah.
apologize.
But no, so
Um,
I was excited to watch it. Kind of first impressions of it were, okay, this is starting off like a very cheesy 80s
Yeah.
action type horror film.
This is
I
late
was
80s as well.
waiting for the horror to kick in until the credits rolled. And I was like, oh, wait, hold on, what?
Yeah, you
No.
kept asking me about that.
For
Where's the
me,
horror?
like the opening 30 minutes could have been about 10 minutes.
Very.
pretty much.
Easily.
Like just when he throws on the shades, like, okay, now the film's starting finally. But even just before that, like I turned to it, like I'm quite stupid when it comes to watching films. Like, and 20 minutes into this, I was like, do you know what's happening here? He said, not a fucking clue. I was like, all right, okay. Now it don't feel so bad. 'Cause it's just weird, just this weird shantytown thing, and then the police show up. And
Yeah, I didn't get that whole thing.
Yeah.
So
I
obviously,
didn't they abandoned
the
it.
police showing up at the church.
yeah.
That was the aliens trying to
Stop
capture
the
them so they could
glasses
take the
and stuff.
sunglasses.
yeah.
That's
know
what
that,
I got from it anyway.
Reckon
Well,
the
yeah.
homeless shelter was just
Mhm.
pointless. Like
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
kind of
Well,
it would be
I
like
thought
the
it was
police.
just somewhere to place him to put him beside that church.
It would be like the
Yeah.
police coming up to a drug den and seeing a homeless shelter across the
well,
thing.
they
goes,
were escaping
let's take
through it.
Fuck it. Let's wreck them.
There were the people
Poor
from the
homeless.
thing. Yeah, the people were escaping through the thing though, and most of them ended up being involved in it anyway.
You also see some of the homeless were still in the houses while their digger was actually moving
Mhm.
them. I was like, that's fucking cruel.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, a little bit harsh.
it reminded me of Tala during the snow.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
I think Aiden is kind of right in like once the glass, like, because you could watch the start of that film and if you've no idea what it's about, because like I obviously knew it's an alien invasion and the kind of subliminal messaging thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first half of that film, or 30 minutes of the film, however long it took for him to put on the glasses, there's no notion of what's going on aside
Nope.
from the kind of subtle hints that there's
There's something weird.
Something
Yeah.
is happening.
Not right.
Yeah.
There's something
And then,
strange in
yeah.
the neighborhood.
and then once the sunglasses go on, it's like a whole different thing.
Like, you
Yeah.
could have just went for a shower, shit, and a shave, and just walked into the room when he throws on the sunglasses and not miss anything, really. I honestly, like, it just
Yeah.
it just felt quite pointless, that opening act. It was
I'm
just
very
weird.
weary with wrestlers in film. There hasn't been many.
In fairness to Roddy Piper, he was
Guardians of the
perf-
Galaxy.
Batista and The Rock are different level. You
Well,
can't
yeah.
compare it to like 80s. Like I'm talking about like 80s wrestlers.
For what?
Well,
Mullet
movie.
heads.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
God.
what that was, like for what the film was, Roddy Piper was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like
You didn't have to say much.
Yeah, he didn't have
exactly,
to do
it wasn't a big act. Like it wasn't a
Yeah.
big acting job, and because it was John Carpenter film, I could have seen Kurt Russell in that lead role, and the film wouldn't have been any different.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about Kurt
Yeah,
Russell, the
maybe.
thing, Kurt Russell in Escape from New York, and then he could have been in this, and they're all John Carpenter films.
You're very
Yeah.
close to a fact right there. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like this film came out six years after
Thing.
The Thing, and The Thing I think on every different on every level is done better than this film.
Yeah,
like, as a John Carpenter film, it felt weird because it's kind of like you look at The Thing and go, holy shit, this is the guy that did The Thing, and he just made this. And I think that was what was going through my head as well. Maybe I was punishing it a little bit, but at the same time,
yeah, there's a reference kind of material there that you're like,
holy crap!
I'm expecting a certain level because it's a certain director, and it ended up not being at that level. I will say, I know you guys will probably not like them, but I thought the alien designs were pretty cool. Like,
did you?
I really like that.
As humans.
Yeah, I like that B movie alien look.
I did like, and even just the black and white thing. I enjoyed that.
I like the black and white.
The glasses, but like the aliens reminded. Obviously, it didn't like the Mars Attacks aliens.
Yes.
I thought were very similar to these aliens. Yeah. So just I like that kind of. They look like Inside Out people. And I just think that effect, because I think those B like it reminded me very much of one of those stereotypical like B movies, like again what Mars Attacks was parodying.
It reminded me of
the black and white helps
would make for the last year of college film exam.
Okay.
The black and white helps it a lot because you don't have to have a lot of detail.
Yeah,
and the black and white will
like
really show it.
Looking as well.
Yeah, I'm not faulting the look in a way. I thought it's a little bland.
It was made that way for a reason.
Well, I thought the Stark look,
I do like that
when they see what the real world looks like was actually one of the better parts of this film.
Yeah.
Like the complete difference between when he has the sunglasses on and then when he doesn't. And they're able to do that contrast because it's black and white with just a very stark, like, obey or marry and reproduce.
Yeah, I thought that was cool the way, like, it showed, like, the subliminal advertising behind advertising. But, like, if it was able to see through things like that, why couldn't he see through people's clothes?
Because they're not X-ray sunglasses.
They could see through posters.
They could see the real subliminal messaging of the posters. It's not
Why
seen
can't they
through the posters.
Why
It's
can't
not
they
like the
real
poster
these?
was up and had a giant obey behind the poster.
I'm
But
hoping
like there was so many of the exact same message over and over again.
Yeah.
They just ran out.
It's
of
almost
slogans.
as if they were trying to make a point about consumerism.
Oh yeah.
No.
No, I know.
I'm hoping that I'm stealing one of Joe's facts here.
Come on.
Maybe not. Obey. As soon as I saw Obey, I was like,
yeah. Well, no, I don't think you are. I think it's. I think I know where you're
Shepherd
going.
Fairy straight away. There's a graffiti art or a street artist called Shepherd Fairy, who had his whole shtick was just obey.
You're not. I saw it, but I didn't put it down as the facts
Okay.
because I knew someone would bring up obey,
But
and I was like, nah.
There's a film called. Sorry to
No,
interrupt. There's a film called Exit Through the Gift Shop, which is a Banksy movie.
Yeah.
And it's about this French dude sort of stumbles on the world of street art, and he eventually finds Banksy and things like that. But one of the people he finds is a guy called Shepherd Fairy, and his thing was just repetition was a big thing with him. So you just have obey, and a sort of a street art sort of painting of Andre the Giant, and that was his thing. Obey, Andre the Giant. I was like, did he get that from They Live? And he did.
Yeah,
100%.
okay.
You see
I've
them on
heard-
hoodies and stuff
Yeah,
like
It's
that.
kind of the same
Or
font as well.
snapbacks.
Actually,
It's exactly the same font.
It's exactly the same. Yeah, it's the same print.
Yeah.
And
So one of the
everything.
things I read about this was that it has had a big inspiration on like the street art community.
So Shepherd
So,
Fairy and
like,
stuff. Him
what
in
you were saying
particular,
there. If I can kind of come back to like we can talk about specific parts of the film if we want to continue on that road, but to me, I think the main thing I found about this film is there is a good film buried somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Like the premise of these aliens controlling the world and the population being unaware is super interesting, especially when you bring in the whole sci-fi element of they end up having a way of some people to see these things.
Yeah.
I don't think this film gets anywhere near as good as that premise originally sounds.
You're getting at the idea was better than what was actually
the execution was
okay.
very
chappy for me.
very
this
I've
is
never seen that.
Great idea for a movie.
To me,
terrible.
Yeah, to me, this is very kind of surface level, and
So it's ripe for a remake, is what you're saying. I think.
everyone is so
I think a modern
one note
remake,
and like boring, if that makes sense. Like
The dialogue in the first 35 minutes, if I remember
was
correctly,
none.
I wrote on it. He speaks no more than 4 words, but all the other characters speak less than 20 or 30. And to me, it started to get to a point where I think I turned to Ken at one stage. I goes, "This movie's really quiet." Like I mean,
There was
and
only
the
that
repetitive
intro
music, and I was like,
continue and go.
okay. And I was like, it's really hard to really get hooked into a film that's nearly half silent on it when there's a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot going on and there's no real context there.
There's a lot going on, but there's nothing going on really.
That's what. That's what I mean. Yeah,
the film was an hour and 36 minutes. I think it could have been an hour and 10, and it would have been a much better movie.
You just start blasting people out.
Episode.
Yeah, just like, just kill the first half an hour, most of it.
And there's a weird kind of change in what that film is when the sunglasses thing happens, because it goes from like a quasi-realistic guy struggling, in the homeless life. And then he puts the sunglasses on and turns into this weird balls-out action movie where he just murders 2 policemen in an alley and then nothing happens after it. Like,
because he realized
that was real life
aliens.
Yeah.
Holy God, he would have been shot. He would have been down, like, he would have been killed in a heartbeat. Like, he walks into a bank with a shotgun.
And nobody batted an eyelid. There's no security guards even turned. Like, if he walked into a bank now with that wrapped around him, he'd be shot in a second.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But it's so weird because then like that part actually has one of the classic lines from the film about I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum and I'm all out of gum.
That is one of the okay, so I didn't know much about the movie. I know that line
from
since
Duke Nukem,
I was
probably.
very young, and it's Duke Nukem. It's probably one of the first lines in the one that starts in a strip club.
All of them?
Oh fuck! I can't. Duke Nukem something. Anyway, his one starts and the aliens come in and they wreck the strip club and kill the strippers, and he just gets up, blasts one of them in the head, and with a shotgun, is like, "I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum."
Yeah,
and I'm all out of gum.
There's no original thought in Duke Nukem.
No, good God, no. And I knew that line for years. I knew that it was from a film. All these years, I never knew it was Roddy Piper. And I was like, holy fuck. He delivered one of the most probably famous lines for gamers in the 90s anyway.
I think that's why Duke Nukem wears sunglasses.
See the actual aliens?
Yeah.
I can see the...
So if he took them off, all the aliens would actually be people.
I can see it. They're all pigs as well. It's weird. I'm not sure. Maybe. The line was taken from it, and they stole another line in it as well. The line he says to the woman in the supermarket. Jesus, you're fuck ugly or something. I can't remember the line Roddy Piper says now.
Doesn't he call her pig ugly?
I think so, yeah. And then he says that's like putting...
Oh, it's like putting makeup on a pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfume on...
Perfume, yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I say I'm torn on this film because I didn't hate it. Like, there was a... I can't think of the best way to word this. There were moments that I found enjoyable, and if you, again, take it as one of these cheesy, of its time, 80s action films, it was a serviceable one of those, if not one that I'd want to go back and continuously watch. There were, some of the, like, Roddy Piper I thought was fine. The Frank, his friend, the guy he has the fist fight with in the alley, great. Like, I thought he was probably the best performance of the whole film, which helps because like he's a decent actor, had a great part in the thing.
He's brilliant in. I was saying this to Mick this morning. He's brilliant in the Something About Mary as well. I love. He's one of the best characters in that thing, and he's only in one.
He's actually got so much range because he can do certain things, and then you see him in a comedy, and you're like, "What the shit?" And he's
what you do? Shit yourself or something?
He totally knocks it out of the park, and you're just amazing, like, "All right, fuck, okay."
But then at the other end of the spectrum, you've got like the woman that he ends up kidnapping to get away. And
though she has the best part of the whole nearly the best part of the whole film.
Out she fucks him out the window?
Glass to the back of the head, out the window, onto the...
But like, her acting was so robotic. I don't know if that was part of her character.
But it didn't seem like it. And then why the fuck did they let her back into the... Like, why was he so worried about this woman who had tried to murder him and threw him out a window?
I thought I killed you.
Because he thought
I thought you did too. That was a line that I just fucking hated. I thought I killed you. I thought you did too. What? I was like, you're standing right in front of her. How did you...
Well, in fairness, like, he was like shaking in an alleyway, like cut to fuck after getting butchered by a load of glass.
But then just walked home. It was grand.
Yeah. I think. Well, I said it to Joe when he hid under the houses up in the hills. I was like, it's like hiding from the cops in GTA.
I think what you mean is that the story was kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah,
kind
it
of,
was-
it's very messy. You don't know where
I think there's a great story in there somewhere.
It's just a lack
Just
of
this
focus,
film
really, wasn't it?
this film did not deliver on that. And apparently it's based on a short story.
I was reading that just now,
I have that there.
Don't read my facts.
I genuinely think if they were to remake that, they could do a really good version of it now.
I think it could be really well done. Yeah.
In fall 2010, there was development of a remake of John Carpenter's 1980 film They Live, with him in a producer role. In 2011, Matt Reeves signed on to direct and write the screenplay. Since then, there have been no new announcements, and it's ended up in development hell.
Never mind.
Oh,
damn. Because
I think they don't live.
I think the story
It's
due for a revisit. Like, there's a lot of
Absolutely,
shit fucking remakes out right now.
Yeah.
This is one I think,
If it was
if
done
got
right.
to the right person to do it,
Yeah.
I think could take what we like about this and what we really hate and trying to turn it. Goes, guys, we can do it like this.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's actually pretty good. I think we could do it really good
Yeah.
as long as it's the right person.
Yeah.
Like these days, they always get the wrong director and it goes to hell.
Do you want to rock into your facts, or is there anything else we want to talk about film-wise? Like,
I definitely want to talk
fight
about
scene.
the ending.
oh,
and
sorry,
one
yeah,
thing
we've
before
we've not even talked about the fight scene.
fight scene, the ending, and titties.
Shitties.
It's been a while, but
You
It's
have
been a
you got a
while.
titty showing.
I got a titty shown.
Like,
It's been a while.
why? Like, that fight scene could have been done in 5 minutes instead of 40.
It was
It was
very
not
funny.
40 minutes long.
It
but
fucking
okay.
felt like it.
It was
I-
45 minutes.
I have the time for it, but I think
It broke
that
a record, didn't it?
It was the longest fist
It-
fight in cinema, I think.
At the time, anyway.
Yeah.
at the time it's been beaten. There was actually one before it as well, if I remember. Hold on.
Didn't make sense. Like,
No.
I have it
why
somewhere.
the guy found him in the alley in the
God.
first place to give him his pay slip
Yeah.
after he'd murdered 2 cops.
Yeah, it was
I
very-
just
yeah.
Now,
don't
in
get.
fairness, when he threw that money at him and
it
it
went
right
in
in
the
the box,
box.
I was like, great shot. What a
Good.
I don't know if that was on purpose
Uh-huh.
or if it was the first shot. they
25
took.
takes.
Yeah. Try to get it in the box.
Mhm.
But don't make it look
Uh-huh.
like you wanted to get it in the box.
Mhm.
I don't know about that for
Oh,
something.
Yeah,
that was a.
it was weird, and I wonder if it was just kind of.
There's a reason behind it. I have it here.
Yeah,
in the
'cause the
fact.
Do you
film-
think
like the-
Piper's laugh was real when he put the
When the glass bottle broke off the back of the car?
Yeah.
I was thinking that myself, because it kind of looked like it was. Like, he
Not
went
meant.
to swing the glass bottle back at him and accidentally hit the car behind him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Piper just went.
Yeah, it looked like he
So it looked like
laughed
it was
as
just a
in, "Oh, you
movie
fucked
mistake,
up."
yeah, because the bottle broke like you'd expect sugar glass or whatever
Yeah.
they used to
Mm.
break. And fair play to the other guy, if it was a movie outtake, he just stuck with it and went,
Yeah.
"Ah," and then chased
Yeah.
them down after. Yeah, that fight scene was weirdly long and kind of
There was so
weirdly
many
pointless.
Gaps in between. How many times did he tell him to just put on the sunglasses?
It stopped.
God damn it, Frank, put on the glasses.
I kind of
Stopped
love
and
the fight scene. It
restarted.
was so fucking
Oh
funny.
no, and that's the thing.
Did you?
I thought
For
it was
what it was, I
hilarious.
thought it
Oh,
was. Yeah,
so-
I thought it was hilarious, and because I knew it was coming, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a long fight scene. What's the precursor to it? It's like, you should try
Nothing.
on these glasses. It's like,
How did you not think it was hilarious? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be hilarious though.
But here's the thing. This is the reaction we're getting off it. We're like, oh, that was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Think of the movie you're talking about.
It's totally. It's
It's
a total
totally out of
mystery.
context.
Yeah.
It's totally. It doesn't fit in place in the
No.
whole film.
I don't think it's supposed
Alright.
to be funny. That's the thing. Like, it's just so
Not at all.
ridiculous. But
Not
yeah.
at all.
But do
He
you
could have
think
got him
Frank
to wear them.
knows about what the glasses do, and that's hence the reason he doesn't want to put them on, because he doesn't want to believe.
But then
in
you
what
find out he's
everybody
not an
else-
alien. It's like, oh, he's human. Okay. Like,
well, no, I get
Well,
what
I
Ken's
hoped
saying.
Piper,
Ken,
when he put them on and looked at him, was an alien, and he
Uh-huh.
just didn't say anything until
That
he
would've
told
been
him
a
at the
cool
end. That
fucking
would have been
end.
really cool.
You're
a hidden
right.
secret. I said that when we were watching
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
that would have been a cool ending to the film.
What, just that fight scene?
No, someone.
repeat
No,
it
if he
again.
put on the glasses,
Someone-
Frank put on the glasses and looked at him, and Roddy Piper was actually an alien in it.
Oh, that would
But-
like when them
Wouldn't
self-hating
it?
aliens.
There's
well, no,
a good
he didn't
ending.
even realise. You know what I
Oh.
mean? He was an alien, and then
Plot
like
twist.
if it ran through
Yeah.
the whole thing, and Frank just didn't have the balls to tell him
Oh,
that he was
that
an
would've been
alien
so
the
good.
whole time, and then at the end, right before he tries to shoot the satellite down, he's like, "Dude, I have to tell you this." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that would have been, and then it would have been the hesitation of, "I could kill myself if I do this."
Yeah.
Talk about last minute things. The woman is with the aliens.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
I think that's why she fucks him out the window, though.
Hold on. I don't get it.
So that's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
And then there was this bit in the middle where she shows up to the resistance meeting. I'm like, why the fuck are they not shooting that bitch?
But they probably don't know. I'm like, but
the
why
more I
didn't
thought
he
about
turn
it was
around
kind of...
and be like, she fucked me out a window after I
fuck
told her.
this bitch,
You know
get
what
her
I mean?
out of here.
But she must have been in there for intel.
Too late for a tiny plot twist like that. It was just really irritating. It was like, no, it's way too long. It was like 2 minutes before the credits started rolling, which definitely seemed like the film cut off. Does anybody think that with the ending? No,
I thought it was.
I like the ending.
I like the ending as well.
That's specific, just like some girl fucking a guy and realize she's in the credits. That was
he
funny.
dies.
I
world
think
sees credits.
The whole scene where she shot Frank was too quick to notice she even pulled a gun on him. You literally thought it was a glint of your eye.
Yeah.
It was just her. She pulled up the gun and the scene was changed.
It was a very, it was a very unsatisfying death for this guy who had been the main character for, one of the main characters for half or 2/3 of the film.
Turned into
and then he dies off screen with a gunshot. Yeah. And then it's just like, I'm here, Frank's not. It's like, oh, okay, so they're just not doing anything with that. No, I did like the ending, especially when you finally got to see the aliens in colour, and they have the one guy who's just sitting watching the telly in the bar, and everyone around him's just like, what is this guy?
Yeah.
Or
because
the two two newscasters who full blue face, and then obviously the alien having sex with the woman very slowly, but they're having sex
very slowly.
Titties.
I thought she was making the bed at first.
Just having to be topless.
Do you not make the bed topless?
Who does?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that meme? It's taking your top off makes everything more intense.
I was going to take my shirt off.
Loving, pooping.
The Matthew McConaughey. I'm going to take my shirt off.
Quick aside.
Go on.
Not related to anything to do with this podcast. I should have mentioned at the start. In the 2-week break, I watched The Dark Tower film.
Oh, any use?
It was okay if you don't care about what The Dark Tower is.
I do.
Well, then don't watch it.
God damn.
Moving on.
Okay.
Yeah. Facts?
Go for it.
That's a fact.
Facts, Max.
Just the facts, ma'am.
It's great to hear that at a proper volume.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sounds so
every
good.
time.
If only it didn't take 87, 88 episodes to figure that out.
Really?
I thought you were going to go by months there for a second. I was like,
we haven't been going that long, Jesus.
Geometric weeks.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All
right.
Yeah.
First one up is that, of course, famous line. The line, I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And all out of gum. Bubblegum was ad-libbed by the good old Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pure from his brain in that moment. According to director John Carpenter, Piper had taken the line from a list of ideas he had for his pro wrestling interviews that he had written down in a book.
oh, so imagine him walking into a WWF ring and just go, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Piper was always one of the most respected talkers in
amazing.
Wrestling.
He was great.
Another one, the big fight sequence. Yes, we're getting into that already.
Of course.
Was designed, rehearsed, and choreographed in the backyard of director John Carpenter's production office. Yeah, the fight between the fight between him and Frank was only supposed to last 20 seconds.
Okay,
it could have been.
But Piper and David decided to fight it out for real, only faking the hits to the face and groin. They rehearsed the fight for over 3 weeks. Yeah. Carpenter was so impressed he kept the full it says 5 minutes and 20 seconds of the scene intact, but most of the things I find online is around the 7 minutes 49 seconds for the full complete.
I wonder if the 5 minute 20 second count only goes from first
punch to last,
whereas the scene itself had obviously the extra stuff.
Over 10 for the scene, which is weird for one place. 10 minutes in a film. Anyway. Jesus. And next, turn it up. For years after the film's release, and even on the movie's DVD commentary, Roddy Piper maintained that the film was based on an actual incident in the 1950s in which a company manufactured a TV that planted subliminal messages in women's brains, instructing them to make extravagant purchases. Piper was unaware that the documentary he had seen, which was called L'Affaire Brunswick in 1978, was in fact a comedy short.
Oh my God.
Which he believed to be true.
Jesus, that's depressing.
Before you go into another fact, why did he hide the box of sunglasses in the fucking bin?
Yeah, that was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like the first thing Ken said when he put in, he goes, "What if the bin men come along?" Like,
maybe he got his.
Did.
What happened?
He might have got his days mixed up. He thought trash collection was Wednesday, but it was actually Tuesday.
And then why did the bin truck empty before it drove off?
Why did it lift up the cab?
They didn't.
That's a very good question, actually.
Why did he do it?
Locked it.
Possibly when Piper opened it to get in, he set off the mechanism to.
Well, no,
tip it. I don't know.
What is it, like a bin man salute? We've collected all our trash, boys. Give the salute. Let's go. All right.
And then as they drove off, it gradually went back down. Like.
I love how worried Roddy Piper is in that scene about slipping out the back of the truck.
He tries
what the fuck?
That he has to get out of anyway.
See, this movie has some really terrible moments.
I thought he was worried about the door going to close on himself again. But it's like, no, he just
doesn't want to get out.
That's a 1.5 foot drop. Ooh.
This is the most comfortable place I've lived in so long.
It's so warm.
There is some terrible scenes in this film that make no sense. All right, on to the next one. The fight scene between Keith David and Roddy Piper was used as a direct reference and scene for scene in the South Park cripple fight, where the handicapped children Jimmy and Timmy settle their differences.
No way.
It's
a full 7 minutes long in the play yard.
I'm going to have to see if I can get a side by side.
When you think
it definitely exists. I've watched that before, yeah.
A South Park episode's 22, 23 minutes. There's a solid 7 minutes of a fight in there of two cripples going at it exactly to the way the scene is. It's perfect.
Interspersed with Cartman going on to the shopping centre thing. Attention customers, there is a cripple fight in the car park. I repeat, cripple fight in the car park.
That was probably in the 20 minutes of them going.
They do that as well. They do the whole.
Like, what the fuck?
It's worth a watch.
Next
movie
five.
Save your final thoughts for the end, Ken.
Sorry.
Ken, please. Hold your fire.
I just blew my load right there.
Oh, what a mess.
Roddy Piper's character is never named in the movie, but in the credits he's listed as Nada, which is Spanish for nothing. His name's Nada. That's horrible. Nada. Holly Thompson is the only character in the entire movie with a last name.
Okay.
Thought that was just interesting. It was like,
that is
no one else has one thing. Frank doesn't have one either.
It's not interesting.
Well, he thought it was interesting, and that's all that matters.
Sorry, the facts guy.
Right. Yeah. Get your own facts, Ken. Come on.
You got Ken to do it 1 week. You get loads. Roddy Piper, being a married man at the time of filming, refused to take his wedding band off. That's why in several scenes you can see a wedding ring on. This caused some trouble on backstage. I can see why, because you're not Roddy Piper when you're acting as someone else. You can take off the fucking ring.
Did he wear it in ring? Like
I don't know.
Wrestling
I've
ring?
actually no idea.
I wonder.
Because that'd be very dangerous if he was to. So he's playing a different character. He'd have to take it off.
You could do what Jimmy Fallon did.
Oh, no, I don't want to be reminded of that.
I don't even know what he did, but just continue your facts because I don't want to know apparently.
Make ring avulsion. Just Google it. Everybody listening and watching, Google ring avulsion.
No, that's all right. Moving on.
Oh, okay. Roddy Piper's character never gives his name, nor is he referred to by name throughout the entire movie, but he simply is not in the credits from he's known. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. It's the second part of it.
That sounded like just
the name almost it's a reference to the character George Nada in Ray Faraday Nelson's short story 8 o'clock in the morning, which the film was adapted. Yeah. That one should not have been listed.
George
never
Nada.
mind. John Carpenter wanted a truly rugged individual to play Nada. He cast wrestler Roddy Piper in the lead role after seeing him in WrestleMania 3. Carpenter remembered Keith David's performance in The Thing and wrote the whole role of Frank specifically for him. Yes, there was other actors that
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell was definitely on it, but he had already done 4 films in a row with Kurt Russell, so it was like, no.
Didn't want to be typecast.
So on the last one, all the various aliens throughout the whole movie, both male and female, were actually portrayed by one stunt coordinator, Jeff Amada. Every single one.
Wow, okay.
All the aliens.
That's impressive considering there's a few scenes where there's loads of aliens.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Facts? Or list. Sorry, we did the facts.
Yeah.
Joe, come up with 10 more facts right now.
Yeah,
okay.
Quick.
No.
Chip, you know what? You just made the list.
Oh, no. Oh, here we go.
List time.
All right.
Joy.
Listicles.
Did anyone have an idea in mind?
Yeah,
Number 1.
Huh?
Number 1.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
You can get fucked. It's not going anywhere near number 1.
No hesitation.
It's not 1.
It's definitely not 1. It's definitely not bottom either.
No, it's not.
Okay, I'll give it. It's better than Manos.
It's not at the bottom, but it's definitely in the bottom 10.
I'd agree with that.
I have a place.
Yeah? Is it 48?
Oh, close. 51.
Really? Below Space Mutiny?
Fuck
Fucking
off.
hell.
That's bollocks, Joe, and you
No,
know
it's not, because Sharknado is definitely better than
Sharknado
it.
is not better than
It
this.
definitely
It is
yeah.
not.
It definitely is.
No, it's not.
Sharknado
really
is better
not.
than this film. I'm sorry.
Actually, Grease
no.
is better than this film.
Grease is better than this film, so it has to be below Grease.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
So it
I
would be
could-
49 then.
How
I
did
could-
Franklin get above Grease?
We were
Franklin's
drunk that night.
No, we did not put Franklin above
We did.
Grease.
Well, we'd have to go back and
We
listen,
did.
but I'm sure we did. It's on the
That's
list
crazy,
as above
isn't it?
Grease.
Yeah, on the list it's above Grease.
No, that can't be right.
That seems wrong.
I
Franklin's
wouldn't
awful.
actually have any qualms
With
putting it
49.
below
Grease.
Grease.
Yeah, 49.
Well,
then.
it'd be 50, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Like, it's better than Space Mutiny, it's better than Sharknado, and better than The Room and all the other bad films we watched.
Chun-Li, Star Wars
But looking at the list of films above that, it's not better than... See, okay, I would say it's better than Short Circuit.
You're a dickhead.
It's not
There's
just...
no way. I'm sorry, no way is that going anywhere. It's
But
49.
that's only because
I can live with
that's
that.
my own personal disdain for
know.
Short Circuit. I'm not
I
a big
know.
fan of that film.
Yeah, but you're wrong.
49?
I would also see the thing is, so I would also, just to make a conversation of it, I'd prefer it to Space Jam. I'd prefer it to Pokemon.
Wow.
I'd prefer it to Franklin. I'd prefer it to Grease. So to me, I could see it personally going as high up as 44.
Holy shit.
Your film is 44.
Oh dear God! But
As
given,
much as we didn't enjoy Space Jam, I still think Space Jam's
given
better.
the conversations that we've had here and the seemingly distaste everyone except for me, like I think of the four of us here, I'm probably the biggest, like the person who enjoyed this film the most.
And you're only 5 places off with us from
and
where we are.
And
like,
I will
like-
say that I enjoyed it as a fan of schlocky B-movie type films. I like those completely ridiculous, sometimes bad type of like sci-fi alien B-movie
No,
films.
you do, yeah.
So, like, it's the very fact that, like, I enjoyed Manos unironically. I thought that was...
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I thought that was grand. Like,
Man,
that was
we need to
perfectly
slap
okay.
you in the face.
Yeah.
What is
for
wrong
that.
with
Like,
you?
I
Many
watched that a
things.
second time,
He did.
optionally. Like, with my own...
Joe tried to make me watch it in... what
I
was that?
remember, yeah. It's
What
got
was-
a 1.9 rating.
Yeah,
Like,
I watched
was
it
the
of my
thing you-
own volition.
What was the thing you tried to make me watch it in with the 2 bleeding robots and your man?
Mystery Science
Mystery
Theater
Science Theater.
I
3000.
couldn't even do it.
Oh, I loved it. Do you know what? Mystery Science Theater makes everything better, but it just
does, yeah.
couldn't work with Manos.
No.
It was
I
just
thought
like...
that film was fine.
It's shite, mate.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're
No,
insane.
Mick,
Actually-
it's a
You're
terrible
looking for
film.
an argument.
I've
Yeah,
watched that.
looking for it.
I've watched that film 3 times
In total.
in total.
Ever.
Holy shit, man.
You're wrong.
I've watched once with the actual film, once with the Mystery Science version, and then once with the guys from Mystery Science Theater doing that thing live over
Oh my
the
God.
film.
You
but
need
yeah.
help.
Anyway, coming back to this, I can see 50 because
50, yeah?
you guys
That
are...
works for me.
That works.
I
fine.
was gonna say drop it in the 52 because I actually really like Sharknado.
Fuck that.
I like
That's-
Sharknado.
that's
But
better
I'd,
than
I'd
Sharknado.
settle as
See,
a 50.
that's our thing. Like, Mick likes the Manos, and we like Sharknado
Mhm.
because it's just fucking ridiculous
Yeah.
fun.
I won't argue that Sharknado is not a better produced and acted film than Manos. There is
Yes,
no making
is
that
100%
argument.
True.
But again, it comes
And
from
the
my
CGI
preference.
is better.
Yeah.
It is better than Manos.
Hey.
Sharknado.
Guy who wore his Hoove costume backwards in Manos is ridiculous. But again, it comes from my, like, I'm a fan of that schlocky B-movie type
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Mm.
yeah. Okay, so we're settled with, 50. So underneath Grease, officially the worst. So we've rated this the worst actual film we've watched. That doesn't include the films we watched that were intentionally bad.
Yeah, it will be, yeah.
Oh, not Street Fighter. Oh no, that was a bad
I
one.
don't think Sharknado
was a bad
was
one.
meant to be bad.
It's not
It
going
was-
to be anything.
What I
above
mean
it.
is that it was selected as our bad movie.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
okay.
technically, we didn't select The Room as a bad movie because we didn't have
Poor
that
Grease.
notion. Yeah, Green.
Greece got a bashing, man. It shouldn't be nowhere near Franklin and fucking Space Mutiny. Like, holy God.
Yeah.
It definitely, like, I have no problem saying Greece should be up.
If
like we're not moving anything,
I would
the
say
list
if
is the
some
list.
people looked at this list, they'd be like, "What the fuck?
These guys are fucking awful.
That is true. Stick with it. Okay,
It's
so
personalised.
we're saying it's 50.
50.
50.
I'm happy with that.
Goddamn 50.
Final thoughts on They Live.
Forget
Good
it
way
and
to
move
good
on.
way to
Wrap that
good way to wrap up Halloween. I was disappointed. Like
As a cult classic.
with everything
To
that
be
was
honest,
coming into
Diane, I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
with everything coming into it, and the fact that it was seen as this cult classic
And John Carpenter
from a
as well.
director whose films I have really enjoyed.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, this is bad.
Yeah.
And I came out of that hour and a half going, well, I was very disappointed.
I think
You were
I
disappointed.
can agree with that.
I'm sorry, I was disappointed too.
I was, as soon as I realised it was John Carpenter, I was like, oh, maybe we're in for something good.
Something.
No, I
tells
knew you
me
were gonna
I'm in something good.
One of my favourite like horror films of all time, as we watched last year, was The Thing.
That's
And
a
I
fun,
got-
that was a great choice. That was
Yeah.
like
That
but look,
is-
listen, you didn't know. That's fine.
Like I was
I know, I'm
hoping
not-
yous
I'm-
would love that, and I remember
Yeah.
thinking, "Oh, geez, I hope they're really gonna like it." 'Cause I fucking love this film.
I'm
And
hoping that's exactly what I'm hoping for next week, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
But I'm not upset that I watched this. I'm glad I
No, I'm
watched
not.
it. I just was left
It's-
disappointed because I had expectations coming into it.
Because
I
it
was
was a
like,
cult.
classic by this director whose films I like.
It's
and
one of
I
those
don't
things
think I've
like
seen a
you're-
bad one. And then
He produced something so good that when he made his next one,
his
he was,
list of films is phenomenal. Like,
and then he just
it's
made
not-
this one piece
like-
of shit.
yeah,
Look, at least it's another one to mark off your list. At least you can say, "Well,
Yeah.
I've seen that film."
mhm.
I can.
Um,
yeah,
You might not have watched it had it not been for this
exactly.
mediocre podcast.
If I
so.
actually probably would have like seen that online as a must-watch movie, if I even had have watched the trailer, I would have been like, no.
it's on the 1001 films you need to see before you die.
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous.
It's
I don't think I'd put it on that list.
no.
again we're looking at it 30 years, almost 30 years after the fact. So maybe it's another one of those things where
88,
it's
was it?
89. So
Oh, 89.
So maybe it's one of those things that's kind of lost to the moment. But
Maybe.
I don't know. It's,
He aimed to have this film as a.
to me, great visuals.
He didn't ask for much budget at the
Yeah.
time. He asked for a low budget. He filmed in low,
Mhm.
as everything was really on the cheap at the thing. When you look at other films that came out in that
Yeah.
year, you're like, holy fuck, these guys are racking in 30-40 million, no problem at all. And this came as in and goes, I only need 8.
Yeah. But
You
again,
can do it with 8.
so it's just like, to me, great visual style, really interesting concept and story. It just did not come together as a film.
No.
And
Yeah, I agree.
I think
I agree on that.
all in all,
100%.
poorly edited. Post would have been
possibly, I don't know.
good. I think
like,
if you were to cut that film down, it would run a lot smoother. And
Kick
it
the
might-
fight scene out.
But yeah, I mean, you say cut it down, but it's already only 90 minutes long.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, unless you go with a Jet Li as the one and make it like a 62-minute film that people are then going to complain, it's like, it's not really a film because it's
That's a
too
good
short.
film. That is a good film.
Yeah, but people
Also,
did
Dumbo's
great
say,
like
concept for a film.
yeah, but people did say,
Yeah.
it's
Dumbo's
60.
like an hour, so you know that.
But
Is
it's an
it?
animated.
They're going to
cartoon,
make that
like-
3 hours long, and the
They're-
new one,
Yeah,
so
that's going to be real long.
Yeah, it's
going
gonna
to
be an
get
absolute wank
all
fest.
the fucking money out of.
But yeah, so disappointed, but look, it is what it is.
Yeah, they all can't be winners.
Yeah, join us next week for a hopefully better film.
You chose Bora.
So hang on,
I
so
will
it'll
say.
be They Live,
Yeah.
then it'll be Bora.
Which
Yeah.
will take its 50 spot.
Wow, okay.
Wow. Ken, I know the film, and it doesn't deserve to be that low on the list. It, it
you were gonna
definitely
say
doesn't.
high. It deserves to be a high, low on the list. And then the week after
We
is
have our bad film,
Yeah.
Fatal Deviation, even though I feel this week is more that week.
So we're doing 2 bad films in a row.
Three,
three if you
actually.
can't pay Live.
The
Oh,
Then
you can't
we-
beat him, join him. Fuck it. I mean,
we
Is
have
this just a
Predator.
bad movie podcast?
Predator's the film we have after that.
Or
it's
Saving
just 4
Grace?
bad in a move in row.
Oh no,
Oh.
no,
I've never
no.
seen it, so
I can't wait for you to see that. Yeah, that's why I think we were bringing this up as well. We need one more normal film before Christmas.
Mhm.
Does anyone have a suggestion for that movie to fill the slot?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, fuck.
Now, like you can shoot me down and say no because my suggestion for next week. Next week's one's mine.
Yeah.
But I've one that I've had in mind to do for.
If you say like the Ali G movie, I'm gonna
can you imagine? No, it's
Sacha Baron Cohen retrospective we've got
no,
going on.
it's Bruno. It's not. It's not.
I've heard that's awful.
I've heard that as well. Yeah, I don't really want to watch that.
Yeah.
My suggestion is it's a documentary.
Okay, we haven't done a documentary.
I don't think we've ever done a documentary.
We have, yeah. We done Anvil.
Oh, we did Anvil. Sorry.
Anvil.
So it's another music documentary.
All right.
I'd be interested to see what you guys think of it because I'm biased, but I think it's just a really good story. It's
Blur?
called it is the Blur documentary. It's called No Distance.
Is it?
It's No Distance Left to
Can
Run.
we just watch Supersonic instead?
I do want to watch that film.
I'd rather Oasis.
I do want to watch that film, but my suggestion would
What
be
is it called?
No Distance Left to Run.
Does anyone have any?
Supersonic has been sitting on my hard drive for probably
no,
about
Mick
8
doesn't
months.
want it.
No, I don't mind. Like, I just have absolutely no interest in Blur. So
That's why I want to watch it because I just want to see like
because you're a Blur fan, you're obviously
Yeah.
gonna like it more. But as someone who hasn't,
So
seen
what is it called again?
Isn't a big fan.
No Distance Left to Run. Because like my other thing is like it's obviously I'm biased and all that sort of stuff, but I just think it's a really good film.
mm-hmm.
Like there's an LCD Sound System documentary which is only okay. There's a Blur documentary which was after this one, which again is only okay.
Yeah.
And I can say that like, and I love both of those bands, but this though, just it's. Do you know a lot of documentaries like sometimes they just sort of be random bits of scenes just sort of cobbled together, and there's no real sort of linear story under that. No Distance is not like that. There's a story from start to finish, and there's interviews all the bands. It's warts and all.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very funny. That's harsh. Borat.
Well,
shite.
I already reviewed Borat. See, it says
Ball rash.
says it right there. If we want to turn it to the thing,
Shite. Look, we'll decide. We'll decide next week.
we're not going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway, I'm messing. Anyway,
but yeah, that I don't know if you guys want to run with that. I've had it in my
I
head
have nothing
to
against
suggest
doing
it
that,
for.
we haven't done a
long time.
documentary in a while. I suppose we could.
Anyway.
Check it out.
We rocking into part 2?
We will indeed.
Let's do it. So join us in part 2. We're going to be talking about Halloween traditions or what you did for Halloween last Wednesday. Join us, won't you? And welcome to part 2 of Preachin' or Preacher at the Movies. This week we're talking about Halloween traditions, or what did you do at Halloween? Because it's now past Halloween.
Happy Halloween!
This is still our Halloween episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like listen, there's 4 weeks in October. We blocked it off all for horror and stuff. And
we
this is
missed
the
a
question.
week.
We missed a week. We couldn't record
We talked
last
about
week.
it earlier, though.
We did.
In the
We
part
did.
1, didn't we?
And I think we've all forgiven each other.
All right.
Yeah.
It was rough there for a few minutes.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
The fight at the top of the episode wasn't very good.
Indeed. What are your Halloween traditions, gentlemen?
Shite all, I hate Halloween.
Are you serious?
I hate elements of Halloween.
Is it the...
The-
No,
Is
I've
it
never
fire,
seen anybody dressing
air?
up as elephants for Halloween.
No? Water? No.
Shut up. Elements
Eli?
with certain
Oh,
naming.
sorry. Right, okay. That was weak.
I dislike how
I
it makes
know,
my
I know.
pets
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
and act,
I was
which
just
is
going to...
horrendous.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this never really was a problem for me when I was growing up because I lived in the sticks. So the only... Like, I live in a village... lived in a
The
village.
only gay in the village.
Was my dad. No, it's not true. My dad's not gay. That was a joke.
I was waiting for him to go, whoa, wait. What?
Dad, it was just a poor
Information.
joke. I apologize. Yeah, but no, it was like, you know, there was houses, like, but there weren't that many
I thought you
dogs.
lived in tents or wooden huts in the forest or something.
Well, we did, but like there weren't a lot of dogs in set huts. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
fair enough.
We'd we'd just take in our own dog and our own cat and stuff, and just make sure they were okay. And that's kind of all you needed to do, like just look after them. But now, like in the last couple of weeks, especially, like I'm living in an estate with Adele and stuff. So if you hear one banger, there's then a chorus of screaming dogs afterwards.
Yeah.
And I do generally, like, you know, barking dogs for no
Drives
reason
them
annoy
fucking
me,
nuts.
but this is a legitimate reason. So I do feel sorry for them all because it's fucking rough. Like, and you can bet your ass that there's like 99% of them are completely illegal. Those fireworks anyway.
Well, did you see the video that got shared?
Completely legal or illegal?
Illegal.
Oh yeah, no, they're 100% illegal
course,
because
yeah.
fireworks are illegal in Ireland.
Well, there's a
we just
loophole
don't
that
enforce
it's
it.
not illegal to sell them, but it's illegal to use them.
What?
There's a joke shop up the top of Stephen's Green, which will remain nameless, but it's the only one at the top of Stephen's Green. That
It's called the Joke Shop, ironically. The Joke Shop.
Maybe next to a cafe
called Nero's.
Hero, so we don't want to name them either.
Shit, sorry.
Cafe Heroes.
We're not
they
on Nero's though. But
No,
they
they're
make
pretty
great
good.
coffee.
Nero's is
but
pretty
yeah,
good,
they
yeah.
sell them. They were selling them in there. They had advertising in the window.
That pound shop, or the new kind of discount shop in the mill, the one that puts the pictures of shoplifters in the window.
Which is completely illegal.
Oh, hold on.
is it?
Yeah, GDPR, man.
Oh, fair enough.
Anyway, they had them in the front of the shop as well, like fireworks. And I was like, they can't do that.
Hello. Would you trust pound shop fireworks?
I didn't know we could do that.
It's a half-size fuses. It's
I'm
lighter fluid inside them except for gunpowder.
Holy crap. Pound shop fireworks.
Instructions: shake after lighting fuse.
Yeah. What I was going to say is, did you see the video, the way you were saying about the pets? The video of the dog, I think it was BBC Scotland shared it online, of the
whippet
lurcher.
was,
Yeah, whippet just like shivering on the kitchen floor because he was that scared he couldn't calm him down. That's horrible. Like, Opie was fine throughout it.
Dog is ridiculous with like fire.
But like puppies normally aren't.
Yeah.
It's kind of
they don't know any
Yeah,
better.
they don't know. Like, there was one, we brought him out for a quick walk the night of, as soon as I got home from work, and just to give him a quick run. And there was one or two like really loud ones that he kind of just scarped a bit. But that was about it. Like, I'll wait till like later years until he gets proper scared.
I've two, and the Labrador was mostly fine, a little bit antsy, but Fry literally shut down from about 3 o'clock. Like, cowering under blankets, trying to dig wherever he could. And like, we bought him a collar this year that's like a pheromone thing that's supposed to calm him down, and it did help.
Smells like eucalyptus kind of thing?
I've no
like
idea.
It's a weird kind of... Is it like a gel kind of...
Hypnol.
Sort of, yeah.
We got one for JD.
And is it me, by the way?
Or chloroform.
I wish it was chloroform.
Is it me, or were the fireworks particularly bad or particularly frequent this year?
Bon Oak was... you're close enough at Cherrywood. It was like Baghdad.
It was
fucking insane.
It was.
They
like,
were doing it
even
on the
here.
roads, in their gardens, stuff years ago, where if someone brought firework years ago when I was a kid, put it in their garden like that, the next door neighbour would be like, Frank, get that fucking out of the thing before you hit me when you hit one of the kids. Right? They'd be forced to the field. Now it's literally everywhere. I walked home through, because I had to mind JD that night, and he was fucking... from running from one thing to the next, to crying, to shivering, hiding behind the couch. His ears are ridiculous. Like, he will hear it just before it even goes. Like, it's immediate. Just
like, there was some that were around here that like echoed around the apartments.
Yeah.
And because it's in a crescent shape, it literally just went around the whole apartment, and it sounded like an actual bomb going off at times. Like, it was huge. And they were kind of across the way, like you could see them, fairly big, but like there was some fucking retard of a bloke, like a few blocks down on the apartment, throwing them off his balcony, throwing Roman candles off his balcony down to the grass and just letting them fire off. It's like, do you know where that could end up? Like,
there's kids down there playing.
Yeah, well, this was kind of late at night, and I think he was doing it for his kids who were on the balcony. But if that was to shoot up onto someone else's balcony, you know what I mean? That's seriously dangerous.
It goes off in his hand. Like
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
So that's
I thought
annoying.
it was particularly bad this
that's
year.
Annoying.
Yeah, it was very bad.
I think the fireworks are getting louder.
Yeah, they're getting louder. They're
holy
getting more. They're getting more frequent.
Yeah.
And for some reason, people think it's a good idea. Fucking October 2nd. It's like, I'm gonna buy my fireworks and set them off from now until Christmas.
I actually don't think there was that many on the lead up to Halloween.
We got
Here it wasn't. Bon Oak.
Really?
Yeah, really bad for the last month. Mum and Dad for the whole of October were just like, they started.
And we've
like
had
even the week I stayed there, they were constant all week long.
And we've had one or two a night since Halloween. Now they're calming down now. I didn't hear any today, but
by the way, that's a shitload of fireworks.
Yeah,
it is.
But like that's the worst thing about them. Like the parents kind of control them a lot Halloween night, and then the kids kind of get the leftovers. You know what I mean? And then just go out with their mates to a field and start going crazy with them. And that's where the damage happens. Like,
yeah, and like
very
I think
dangerous.
it's worse. I think it's way worse.
And even Halloween night, like I mean, okay, like I don't know if you remember, there was a severe clampdown on fireworks a couple of years ago, and in Garristown it went from like fireworks all through October and blah blah to like nothing the following year. But then once I moved to Dundalk, and I could, they were a lot more frequent again, obviously.
They were actual gunshots.
Yeah,
in Clondalkin.
They weren't fireworks, bro.
Yeah. Or bombs.
Oh man, they don't even sell them on it. It's just guns.
But even the other night, like
the Purge.
Adele's mom likes to have the house like a fucking furnace sometimes. So we're
she
there.
really does.
She really. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Like, it's
so we're in the
hot.
back cave, and I had to open the window just to let some air in. But then I had to have Out of the 10 Cats Countdown at fucking volume 100 because of the fucking noise of the fireworks. Like, and it's because it's not even just fireworks. Obviously, it's like fireworks full of and you know.
Also, people who leave their dogs outside is just fucking retarded.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you hear dogs out the back on Halloween barking away, you're like, you
should be legally allowed to take them off those people.
That's
because people
evil.
are just throwing them out the back garden because they're barking too much in the house, and it's like, oh, I'm sick of you, go outside and bark, and then it just makes the dogs worse.
Oh, it's so much worse. Mom does that sometimes. It's like if he scratches or barks inside the kitchen, if he goes out, he's 10 times worse. Like, it's like, no, what are you doing?
Oh, like she was over here last night, and she has like the little dog cam, and he was like sitting up in the chair. Now he was asleep, like he was asleep on the chair, and she's like, "Take her off the chair, get onto the bed." And it's like when you shout into the camera, it's gonna come through as the dog's not gonna fucking understand you. First of all, like you know what I mean.
So
and like you're shouting at him through a camera that he's just gonna go, "The fuck was that?"
And also,
I don't see the person's fun.
The other thing is, the question of the week is actually about Halloween traditions. Obviously,
we just thought we'd rant
fireworks
over what we had.
Obviously
So we already all hate fireworks now.
Obviously,
it's like,
fireworks
fuck this.
are not our tradition. Although I will say, we did get them throughout the years. Like my dad had them through.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many fireworks that your dad confiscated did you just give to you afterwards?
I didn't get them. He didn't really give any to us. Like,
your dad's a card.
Yeah, he'd set them off in the back garden
Cans and
stuff.
fireworks.
Yeah.
Empty them out, boy. Just that one that's open. I'll take the rest.
Empty that out. Down the back of your neck. But he'd responsibly set them off in the garden and stuff like that, for us, on Halloween night. But that was it. He'd be obviously very responsible about it, and we've a very big back garden as well. So it'd all be safe and stuff.
That's fucking safe.
That's fine.
Doing it in a housing estate is not fucking safe. You don't know how many times I've seen them where it goes straight up and you're like, oh yeah, that's fine. That one went up and exploded grand. Do you ever see the ones that go wonky where they go like that and go shoot to the left? And
or they don't fire and collapse and then decide to fire.
Yeah, or people that
I've
decide
seen
to
them
break.
hit
I've
roofs.
seen people break the sticks
and just
off
let them go crazy
of the thing, and then just throw them like a banger, and then they'll fly around randomly because the stick obviously acts as some kind of balance.
It's like that whole scene in Grown Ups where it's like shooting the arrow up in the air and standing still.
I love that joke.
Like, we don't have to move. No, we have to move.
Yeah.
I do. This maybe it's me getting older, but like preparing for all the trick-or-treaters, especially this year because Ryan was a little bit older. It's like he was running down.
Did you bring him out?
We didn't bring him house to house, but Jess and my mom, so I didn't get home for a while. Jess and my mom were obviously answering the trick-or-treaters that were calling around. Loads of them in our state.
The stupid little human can't even walk yet.
Yeah. Like. He can walk. But he was running down.
Shaming him because he can't even walk yet. It's like, fucker, should he walk?
How old is he again?
Should be sprinting by now.
17 months.
Sake.
Yeah. Wait, what the fuck?
17 months.
17 Mick.
Year and a half.
Mad.
Yeah, there you go. Just under a year and a half.
But yeah, no, he was running down, like, he had a little devil costume, was running up and down the road in his devil costume.
Was that one not Jess's?
No, it didn't. Her one's a lot smaller.
Oh,
that's bad.
She's not watching, it's fine.
But yeah, so seeing the kids around the estate getting all the kind of Halloween enjoyment is...
They start pretty early now.
Melting
don't they?
my own heart.
Well?
My old heart, yeah, like from 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Like, and they're done before 7, and everyone's like, alright, get home before,
Pretty much.
all the weirdos go out.
Well, like, what was it? One of the
for all the weirdos go hunting
the year
for
before,
kids.
we had one kid knock at the apartment, and it was like 9 o'clock at night. I snuck out, looked through the peephole, seen them leave down the hallway, and just went, This year, Rosie told me when she got home, there was like 10 or 12 kids came to the door. I was like, thank fuck I wasn't here, because I probably would have murdered them. Being in the middle of Hocus Pocus, being like, fuck off.
Just hang a bag of sweets on the front of the door.
Take
one
honor
take
system.
one honor system, yeah. You are being watched.
Yeah.
Put your fingerprint here and take one.
I remember we, in Oakwood, we got tons of people calling to the door, but every one of us in the house forgot the candy one year. So we just ignored the door and closed the curtains, turned off the lights, and just hoped they wouldn't bang on the door.
Nice.
It worked.
Fucking harsh bastards.
They were knocking.
It was either that or Rob took the sweets and hid them in his fucking room.
Rob kept going to the curtain and looking out, so they kept going, "We can see."
So that was 1 year tradition. What other traditions do you have, gentlemen?
I
Are
know
you fine dressing up for Halloween?
No,
I used to when
I
I was a
dressed
kid.
down.
Oh, you get nude. What about you?
I used to not enjoy it, but since I've gotten a bit older, I've started enjoying the costume part of it. Only because I can make dumb costumes myself now.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Still will never get over seeing it. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, I saw everything that
Have
night.
you seen that picture?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, you took a picture. That was fine. I remember
It's me
that.
in a belly top,
Oh, it's hot.
dressed like Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Also, there's a picture of me at a urinal in same costume.
Just lifting up the skirt.
I wore heels for the full night. I'll have you know.
Fair play to
Fair
you.
It was
play.
the
Your lass is
tallest
better
I've
than most
ever.
women, like.
It was the tallest I've ever been on a night out.
So
Yeah.
5'4".
5'4".
So Ken, you don't like dressing up?
No, like if there was a party to go to, I'd find something.
Mm-hmm.
Like in work, we were allowed to dress up for the day, and I whipped out the Darth Vader onesie and just put on my Darth Vader snapback, and I was like, done, bitch. I tried to actually find a Steve Jobs outfit, but I couldn't find a black polo neck anywhere.
Oh, no way.
Anywhere.
Should have asked me. I've got loads.
It's
It's
like
like,
have them signed.
yeah.
Anyone think that's one thing that seems like a cheap or cop out these
Thrown
days?
on a onesie.
People tend to just buy a onesie and go,
Yeah.
"Cool, look, I'm Iron Man." It's
Uh,
like
there was-
years ago.
Well, no, there was a friend of mine who, like, her kid had like a Pikachu onesie on,
Yeah.
and like nothing else. I was just like, at least paint your fucking face.
Yeah, at least it's not as bad as some of those horrifying Pikachu ones you see where people dressed as Pikachu and tried to make the nose and the ears and all that, and it looks like a fucking horror show. Like,
Is this all a lead up to make fun of my costume this year?
what did you dress up as?
I dressed up as a mashup between the dude and Pikachu. I called it Pikadude.
I totally forgot about that.
Well, that's disgraceful.
Yeah,
That's
It was
just cheating. That's two
I
costumes.
totally forgot about that.
I thought it was a very funny idea, and I thought it looked pretty good. And also, a couple of years ago, one of Oakwood's Halloween parties, I dressed up as Pikachu. I literally just fucked on the onesie, and that was done.
So lazy.
Yeah.
I do-
Throwback.
There's some... Look, there's some years where you just can't put in the... Like, you just can't
True,
be
when you're
fucked.
not arse.
Hey, look.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Or it comes together last minute. Like,
Yeah.
I remember one time
like
in Oakwood
whipping
there
out the
was a
black
Halloween.
plastic bags,
Yeah.
like
Bin.
Mama used to.
Liners.
Bin,
Bin.
yeah.
Liners.
Mm.
Oh, you could be anything with a bin liner.
Are you a fan of dressing up then, Joe?
I really do like it.
Mick Foley 4
It's
years
good.
in a row because you had nothing else but a check shirt in your wardrobe.
Joe just came
I
home
have
from
never dressed as Mick Foley.
Bullshit.
He just came home from work.
I've never dressed as Mick
Yeah,
Foley.
you have. You throw on a wrestling t-shirt
Every
under
second
like
day you dress as Mick Foley.
under one of your flannel shirts.
Do do do.
I don't think I ever did Mick Foley.
If you're gonna turn around and say no, I was one of his aliases, you can
No,
fuck
I
right
wasn't.
up.
Dude,
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember ever
Dude,
dressing
no
as
love.
Mick Foley.
It was.
Whatever.
It was.
I think one of my laziest ones ever was
It was March. It was weird.
I needed a costume real quick,
Mhm.
and I took the V for Vendetta mask I had, the
Yeah.
Guy Fawkes mask off the wall, put on a tuxedo, and done. I was like,
I
done.
mean, there
You
was
had a
one-
tuxedo.
yeah, I actually had a tux. Not anymore. It doesn't fit me.
There was a couple of years ago where I bought a Kick-Ass costume, and that was a good costume, but like
What was it though?
it was Kick-Ass.
Yeah, but like tell us what it was instead
Oh,
of
for
telling us
God's
how it was.
sake. But like technically that's quite lazy. I am hunting for Pokemon. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, you
Just saw Pokemon Go.
motherfucker.
I was like, oh my fucking god. Mick is disgusted. He's
Uh-huh.
like, what is this
Aiden,
podcast
you're off
come
the
to?
podcast.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
I'm just gonna go play Pokemon.
I'm back.
That
What
was
was I
quick.
gonna say? But yeah, like technically that's quite a lazy costume. Because I literally just bought a costume, did nothing with it, and just other than put it on.
Here we are dissing all the people who like to try and
I've
dress up.
I've
It's like,
done
fuck those bitches.
I've done both. I've done, hey, it's 20 minutes and I didn't even know I was going to go to this thing. I'm going to throw a sheet around me and just toga it up.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, whatever works for you. I mean, if it makes
But then,
somebody
yeah,
laugh.
I've also
or-
gone and made a Mankind mask from 3 different belts and thumbtacks.
What a waste
Two.
of belts.
Yeah, it was to
I dressed
do
up
that.
as the milk carton from the Blur video a couple of years ago.
I think that's what you showed me the picture. of.
Yeah, that looked
Yeah,
pretty good. It was
pretty
handy
good.
enough to do, but like I literally had to fashion some cardboard boxes into a giant milk carton and paint it and stuff, and put the picture of Graham Coxon on the side and all that shit.
Like actually, my brothers this year. Like normally, my dad goes like over the top.
Yeah,
Like last year, he was a Rubik's cube,
Jesus.
like a full-on Rubik's cube. I think it was a huge costume. But this year, like my brother didn't want to dress up,
I saw
so
the picture.
yeah. So they literally got like loaves of bread, hung them around his neck, and gave him a sign that said "Gingerbread Man," because he's ginger.
Yeah.
So
I remember another time I went to a fancy dress party dressed as loaf of bread. Fuck me, lads. The birds are all over me.
Anyone have any other traditions?
Bobbing for apples is a classic from my childhood, I remember. Now that I think
crack.
about it, it's almost like forced drowning.
Yeah, shy crack. I don't like that
Put your
one.
head in the water.
I could never do it.
Yeah, but did
And
you
I
ever
used
get
to-
torn? Did you ever get turned on when you see the women do it?
Well, obviously,
Bob, bitch.
Oh, that goes into a tradition I am very fond of
cleavage and
the last couple of years.
you might get a few splashes on there. Oh, it's hot.
We need to talk about the whorepocalypse.
The whore.
No, it's not. It's the slutpocalypse.
Yeah,
That's
like
what it
you
is.
get any costume and slut it up.
Damn
Like
right.
there's a difference between like getting a monkey costume and getting
And
a
a sexy
monkey
monkey
costume. It's like I would rather walk into a pub and see some young one in a massive orangutan outfit and go, "That's bleeding class," than have half of her tits out, and I'm like, "You're a half-dressed orangutan."
Depends which half.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, butt face.
Stop monkeying around.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you like
Did you just say stop monkeying around?
Yeah, I
That's
did.
Oh, you fucking ape.
Oh,
That was better.
I do like the slutpocalypse.
Can we take 2 minutes for
I think
a second?
core pocket.
Okay,
hold on.
All right, hold on.
No. It's just for the audio thing, I can hear a hiss, and I don't know which microphone it's coming from, so I'm just going to quickly mute some of them. No.
Is it mine?
No, it's mine. Okay.
So you
Just-
just can't talk the rest of the podcast.
Yeah,
So
I'll just
moving
I'll mute mine.
on. Yeah, I've pulled up some articles.
serious?
About some Halloween traditions. Who wants to hear about some Irish Halloween traditions from
Actually, I do have
quite
one.
frankly, incredibly dated-looking website, but still.
Before we go into
Is it like the
I
apple
do
on the
have
string instead of bobbing for apples?
That's
No,
a
it was the
weird one as well.
coins in the water as well, wasn't it?
No.
Coins-
curly
coins in
kale.
the apples.
You're thinking of curly kale.
No,
it was
that's-
razor blades in the apple.
You put money in the curly kale in the potatoes.
No,
Mashed
that's
potatoes.
an actual meal. But I'm talking about like instead of having the apples bobbing in water, it was an apple on a string, and you had to try to get it.
Oh, yeah. So I used to cheat at bobbing for apples because I can't do it. So I'd make sure I'd get the side, like, I'd say if everyone's over there,
Yeah.
I'd do that, and the other hand would be like,
Oh my fucking god!
Huge.
I just couldn't do it. I just
He's a
never was
cheater.
able to do it. So yeah, I used to cheat at bobbing for
How many
apples.
kids
For a
have
fucking
drowned?
apple. I wouldn't eat an apple any other fucking day of the year.
Except for when
But
you're
that
bobbing
apple,
for it.
yeah.
So true.
So true. Here's apparently some notable Irish Halloween traditions.
Oh god.
Culcanan for dinner. Has anyone ever had Culcanan?
I
What's
don't even
that?
know what
Isn't
it
that
is.
What is
curly
it?
kale?
Yeah.
Is that curly kale?
Boiled potato, curly kale, and
Ugh.
raw onions are provided as a traditional Irish
No
Halloween
raw.
dinner. Clean coins are wrapped in baking paper and placed in the potato for the children to
Yep.
find and keep.
For
No,
at least
never
20,
done it.
20 years of my life.
No, I've never
25.
done
Really?
Everything
Never.
except for the onions.
Nannies.
Not the onions
Yeah.
though.
Not
Well,
the
yeah.
onions. Yeah,
Curly
fuck the
kale.
onions.
Oh yeah,
Just
man,
throw
it
an
was
extra
amazing.
pound in there.
Now here's one that fucking
Give me
everybody's
a
done.
pound.
Yeah,
Cross and pound with silver. The barnbrat cake. Didn't have one this year though.
fucking right.
I had
we
one
did.
this year.
We did,
We
yeah.
had it in
Yeah.
Amaz.
Shit ring.
Yeah. Great interest is taken in the outcome as there is a piece of rag, a coin, and a ring in each cake.
A rag. A rag?
Yeah.
Again,
fuck, man?
it's greaseproof paper now. It's wrapped
Yeah, I
in
know.
for health and safety concerns.
If you get the rag, then your financial future is doubtful. If you get the coin, you can look forward to a prosperous year. Getting the ring is a short sign of impending romance and continued happiness. I didn't ever hear about the coin before.
I've swallowed plenty of rags, so
Never heard the rag.
I've never
either.
seen them.
That's yeah.
Jesus,
Sounds
mother of
disgusting.
fucking god.
Yeah, that's disturbing
Speaking
on every
about a
level.
bloody costume,
The ivy leaf. Each member of the family places a perfect ivy leaf into a cup of water, and then it is left undisturbed overnight. If the following morning the leaf is still perfect and has not developed any spots, then the person who placed the leaf in the cup can be sure of 12 months of health until the following Halloween.
What is all this bollocks?
If not,
that's
they're
all
going to die.
like pagan shite.
I think it is all pagan shy.
Well, we are all ex-pagans.
very weird.
Go ahead.
The bonfire. That's another one.
Well, yeah,
there we go.
But now
Everyone's
that's
done
become shy.
yes, I have.
Oh my
yeah,
fucking
because
god.
all the council come around and take everything that you've worked
Dude,
weeks for.
they stole me wood.
took our word.
Do kids still call
Took
on
me
doors
pallets.
looking for wood?
They do in
Oh,
our
yeah.
state. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy that tradition's alive. That's a tradition right there.
I
Going
was.
around
I
with a
used to-
shopping trolley robbing wood
Fucking
from
used to
everywhere.
love
was
it.
Great.
We used to meet up right in the morning, like in the middle of the estate, and it's like, right, we'll take each road and we meet on the Ashwood field.
Yeah.
It's like, fine, fuck it, let's do
Because
it.
you'll have someone
No,
that's like clearing
anything.
out their house coming up to the Christmas.
People used to save wood out the back of Kevin Nash would
Yeah.
just be like, "Oh, you leave
He's
it for
gonna
the
take that,
bonfire." Oh, it's great.
I'm very surprised my parents let me do that when I was a kid, only because it's fucking dangerous.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Like gathering up all this manky wood, and people would always set fire to it early. It's
so
like, we have to have a little fire going to keep it warm.
You'd always have that
like,
hero
what?
in the estate who would go, "Yeah, I've got a couch at the back."
Uh-huh.
Fucking couch, lads. Fucking couch.
Yeah, but then you get the couch there and you sit on it watching the bonfire, and then it
Pretty
starts to get to the end of it, and you're like, "Yeah,
Throw
fuck
the
the
couch
couch on."
on.
Fuck it. The last of it.
I had
and then
a
you get
friend.
them clowns that throw tires on it, and you're like,
Oh,
I was
Yeah.
just about to say, I had a friend whose ear got burned by a guy swinging a tire around on a stick
you know.
that was on fire.
Classic.
Yeah,
That's
I know. So I know 3 different people that have Halloween injuries. That guy, another guy who had part of his hand burned/blown off with a banger, and another guy who set fire to some petrol in a shore and it burnt his leg.
Does syphilis count as a Halloween injury?
Depends. Did you catch it on Halloween?
Well,
Maybe.
There was a story
night of-
coming out of, I'm not sure if it was Northern Ireland or Scotland or somewhere, or it might be somewhere in England. I can't remember. But they made a bonfire in the shape of the Grenfell Tower.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a bit fucking. That's a bit fucked up.
We talked a little bit about
Hold on.
this morning.
Talking about fucked up. Your joke got cut out last week, Joe.
Did
That's
it?
not fucked up compared to that joke.
Did it?
So come on.
Man. I crossed the line, did I?
across the line.
Yeah, so
I didn't
you're
remember-
thinking that Greenfield Tower
That was-
thing
that
was
was
crossing
two-
the line. Your fucking joke got cut out of podcast.
That was 2
There's no
weeks.
crossing the line
that
with
was
you.
2 weeks ago, and I don't even remember what it was.
I do, but
Oh.
we're not going
We're
into
not-
it
I'm
because
not
you're going to
gonna
have to
repeat it.
re-edit this.
Um,
But anyway, Mick, you were
It
saying.
was a good joke. It was a really good joke.
Yeah,
those 5 people got arrested for that.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a bit mad.
I don't. As much as that should, is that an arrestable offence, or is that just these are fucking idiots, lads?
Pretty much a slap on the wrist. You're idiots.
Yeah, they made a bonfire just
I don't
so
think they should
happened
get
to be the
arrested.
shape of something.
It's a bad joke.
Yeah.
But if you
Fuck
start
it. Like a
arresting,
man that went to Jonathan Ross's party dressed as that Israeli bloke. No, that Israeli murderer recently.
The guy who got murdered, the journalist?
No, but is he
The guy who
Israeli?
killed him?
Who killed him?
Oh, Jesus.
Some random bloke went to Jonathan Ross's Halloween party dressed as him with a fake rubber hand in his hand.
Oh.
And it was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Jesus.
That's
Oh,
pretty
well.
fucked up.
I don't know.
I don't know. I
There
think
is-
it's insensitive, but at the same
Yeah.
time,
Well, I saw
it's
someone.
a slap on the wrist. It's not
Someone
a fucking...
came out, and we're
arrestable.
not a politics or news podcast, but someone came out and said that it's a hate crime, and it's like,
How's it
Hang on,
It's
what?
not a hate crime. It's just a
That's not a hate
dickhead
crime.
crime. That's
yeah,
what it
it's
is.
the hate.
snowflake
100% is a
crime.
dickhead crime.
Do you know what
That's about
the
it.
worst thing was? So I was reading the article this morning. It was like the offenders aged 19, which is like, okay, yeah, it's going to be a bunch of kids. 47, 44, 52, and 48. And it's like,
Jesus.
Are you
okay,
giving the
these
lotto
are-
numbers?
like,
What was the
these
bonus
are all
number?
people. Yeah, these are all people
I
that
played
should
plus, so I need 2.
absolutely know. But anyway,
He couldn't get the...
But yeah, they have
Like-
nothing better to do with their lives.
when
but
when I hear
that.
stuff like stupid things like that, I'm like, oh, it's gonna bunch of teenagers or very early 20s just not knowing any
and then
better.
it's a
but-
load of outflas
Yeah,
that had one too many cans. And went,
Yeah.
do you know what we should do, lads?
The worst story that came out... Well, it's not the worst story that came out with that whole tower fire, but after the thing, there was a compensation fund. Did you see it? Like, to get new
Some-
places.
Yeah,
One woman was recently arrested because she came up with a whole backstory that she had lost everything in her child in the fire. She was
Jesus.
never from the
Mhm.
tower.
Oh,
She
my
never
God.
lived there. She was just claiming money from the fund.
That story is lit.
Halloween
Halloween tradition. Yeah.
Next weird tradition. Go on.
Did you know that Ireland is actually considered the birthplace of modern Halloween, with its origins stemming from
Yeah.
ancient Celtic and pagan
Mhm.
rituals?
Yeah, it's an Irish holiday.
Yeah, I didn't know that for years. I
Did you not?
did find out a year or two ago. Then
That's why I always find it funny when America shows, look how big we went for for Halloween. And it's like, it's not even your fucking thing. You just stole it.
the darker traditions.
Sounds like a lot of American culture.
Yeah.
True that.
Pretty
true
much.
that.
Everything's recycled. They just stole
I
it.
would rather Halloween as an Irish holiday than Paddy's Day. Because he's fucking Scottish.
Well,
Oh, he's Welsh, isn't
I
he?
think
Sorry,
I've read
he's
it
Welsh.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like...
kidnapped from Wales, brought to Donegal.
Yeah, and he got rid of the snakes.
Pretty
Allegedly.
sure the story of
He's due back for
Halloween
another
is
half.
older. I'm pretty sure it's older than Paddy's Day.
What? Halloween?
Halloween.
Yeah,
idea of it.
because
It goes back
There's the
way
story,
long.
No,
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. I would consider Halloween more of an Irish holiday than I would St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. The rest of the world stole our Paddy's Day. Paddy's Day is not Irish anymore.
all our traditions.
We don't sound bitter at all.
I don't. They can have it.
We still have Arthur's Day, Joe.
Like, you look at Paddy's Day.
We don't. I don't think.
I now
No,
live
we don't
for.
anymore.
I live now for fucking bank holidays.
Well, because you got a 3-day weekend, you lazy fuck.
Like, you look at it, it's like Paddy's Day. It's like, man, I'm living for the next bank holiday. I'm sorry.
Dia de los Muertos. I'm just reading from around
Day
the
of the
world.
Dead.
And I didn't know that
El
was a thing.
Mexico.
Because that's from November 1st to 2nd. I didn't know that was a thing until I seen Coco, the Pixar
That's got those
movie.
whopper skull paintings.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where
I
Candy
have a
Skull's
tattoo.
gonna come
I've
from.
never
yeah.
even heard of it until I
Yeah.
seen that movie. Have you seen it?
Oh, it's a great movie.
It's fucking
I
brilliant.
have a Day of the Dead
Beautiful
school.
movie.
No.
Coco
That's
is
so
a great
good.
movie.
It only
Absolutely
took us
brilliant.
33 minutes to get to our first film reference on our film podcast
Hey.
of this half.
This is going through a thing. I actually have some comments if we can go through them. If you
Yeah,
want.
go for it.
do
Yeah.
that.
Ronan Walsh, I love his comments, they're always good. Aggressively terrorising elderly neighbours to the point of exhaustion was always a popular one.
That's a popular one, Joe.
To the point of exhaustion.
My
Oh,
mum
that's
always used to make
fantastic.
candy apples, so she was like one of the most popular ones on the street.
Except for like the day later when they go like fucking diamond
That's why
hard.
we ate them that night.
The key is to be the house
You can only
that's
eat so
given.
much.
The key is to be the house that's giving away full bars of chocolate.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happens to those people.
Yeah. we
It's the-
protect
Twix,
them
Twirl,
all year
Mars.
round. They give us the good stuff.
Yeah.
Come Halloween.
See that
It's
bitch
the-
there? She fucking gives us fucking cooking apples and raisins, lads.
Well, no, there was a
Monkey
bloke.
nuts.
There was a bloke on my street that used to
Worst
give us
food
copper
ever.
coins.
Copper coins.
Copper coins. So he obviously used to
He
have
just
like a
raided his
piggy's
fucking
bank that used to just.
jar.
That's he
How to get
literally
rid of
was
his
like
change.
take out
That
coins and
sounds-
just drop them in the bag. Yeah.
That sounds familiar. I think that's been done to me at least once or twice.
I just get them thrown at my head.
There you go.
Right.
It's a big enough. Anyway.
Hey.
There was Adele was saying one of the girls in work was saying to her, yeah, had one of the trick or treats the other night. She was like, gave her sweets, and she was like, actually, do you have any fruit? And she was like, yeah, I think of a couple of satsumas in the back. Hang on 1 second.
Satsumas. It's an orange, man. All right, I don't care what anyone says. It's
It's
a
a
fucking
mandarin.
orange. That's also an orange.
Yeah, it is.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. They just taste
part of
better.
they're part of the orange family, but they're satsumas and mandarins and stuff.
So it's still an orange. Then.
It doesn't matter.
So do you
Continue
call
the
a dog a
story.
dog or a? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a lurcher.
Exactly.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Was there an end to the story?
Look at the
There was, but it's
frustration.
been fucking derailed now. So
I'm
it's
sorry.
I
Go, no,
wanna
go on,
hear
go
it.
on,
The
go on.
girl
No,
wanted
no, no,
fruit.
go on, go on.
And she literally came back out and she's like, "Oh, thanks very much. This is really good for you." And one's like, "Yeah, thanks. I know that. Yeah, that's what happened." But just can you imagine? It's just so weird. Can you imagine a child
A kid
saying that?
asking for
Asking
fruit.
for fruit.
Yeah, and saying, "Oh, it's really good for you." You know, like, yeah, I did, thanks.
Now you just stole it away from me, so I don't have anything good for me, kid.
I hope you enjoy that nutrition.
Yeah,
Well, there was one girl
Well, I
that
eat all
came
these
that
sweets.
Rosie told me about. One little girl that came here,
yeah.
and said that she didn't like the bars that we had and walked away. And her friend asked, "Can I have hers?" Rosie was like, "No, you got one."
Picky little bitch.
Yeah,
should
I
have
don't
been
like them
booted
bars.
in
Have
the
anything else? Oh
That's-
God!
That's
Fucking-
hilarious.
what a
Although I
dickhead.
did,
sweet chin music straight to that child's face.
I do.
Which?
Sweet chin music straight to the kid's face.
What's that mean?
It's a wrestling move.
Oh, okay.
Shawn Michaels,
you
super
should
off the
never, yeah,
band.
you should never give out like Snickers as your
Why?
because
Nuts.
kids have nut allergies.
Yeah.
That's why monkey nuts should not be given out
Yeah,
either.
they don't have to eat it. They can give it to someone else.
But some people are so allergic that even if it like touches stuff
Yeah.
that they
They
break
don't
out.
even
But
know.
then they shouldn't go
like-
trick or treating
But
Parents'
some
fault.
kids don't even
True.
know that they're allergic to it until they have.
until they're dead.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. You joke, but that happens.
Do you remember the peanuts, the red peanuts? The
Monkey nuts.
monkey nuts? They
Okay,
go in the
yeah.
shell.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
shy.
The amount
are
of those you
shite.
used to have in the bag,
Fucking
they are the
awful.
most
You
tasteless.
used to throw them at the elephants in the zoo. You used to love them.
I just
Yeah.
used to
I mean,
break
There's
I
a
never
joke
fed
in
the
there
elephants at the
somewhere.
zoo. No.
There's
Well,
a joke.
Ken,
giving the elephants my nuts? No,
Ken,
no.
if I'm going to the zoo the next day, then yeah, give me some monkey nuts. Otherwise, fuck off with your horrible, tasteless, bland.
I
piece
used to
of
sit
shit.
there and eat them all night. My
I'd
dad
rather-
used to take half of mine and eat them. He used to love them. Like.
I'd rather
Yeah,
eat
my
me on
dad
face
loves
than
them.
eat monkey nuts. They're
That's-
shy.
I can't
It's shy.
disagree. They do give them away to you
Well, in
in
fairness,
There's
five
no
minutes.
taste.
Quite
There's no
shaped like a
taste.
monkey nut.
All right, I'll go on to the next
Yeah,
comment.
next
Dave
comment,
Cullen
Joe.
says to sit as far away from the front door as possible, so someone else can answer and pretend to be impressed
That's a great tradition.
and scared by those lousy costumes.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
always a battle between me and Jess as to who answers the door because
Nigs.
I can't. Yeah, I can't feign the
Oh, neither can I.
Oh,
no,
you look so good. I'm like, here's your sweets. I don't know what else to
me.
say.
That's
what
me.
What are you even dressed as?
I'm literally like, here you
In fairness,
go.
this year was probably, and you're someone from Fortnite, and you're someone from Fortnite, and you're someone from... I know all you people.
Yeah.
Jesus. Another one. All right, Sarah Lee comes in with... We need to talk about the good old-fashioned bin liners for every costume back in the day. We kind of did, yeah. You could be anything. I want to be a Ninja Turtle.
Bin man.
Bin man. I want to be... let's see. I want to be Britney Spears this year. Well, you know what? There's some bin liners.
You're right.
Let's do this.
Don't choke on them shit.
After the breakdown, yeah.
All right. Another one. Sending your brother sisters out trick-or-treating again with a second bag to bring goodies back for you. Oh, wow.
Yeah, my brother's sick. Do you mind
Never
if I
had
get one
that.
for him?
I
never had that.
I heard of it a great one. Somebody was, I think maybe...
If I didn't go out, I didn't eat.
I've done the second mask.
Maybe
One costume, take off that
She
costume.
mentions that, partially swapping
second mask,
costumes
yeah.
with your
A
friends.
lot of our neighbours copped onto that. They were like, "Oh, take off your mask and let me see your hair." No, Susan, fuck off.
No, Susan, it's not Kenneth.
Who is this Kenneth you're talking
I
about?
never did that. The partially swapping the costumes and stuff.
I heard of a great one. Somebody was on Twitter, I think, was saying that they're quite short and their friend is quite tall, so they went out with full costume, pretending to be a kid, and the friend went around them as like the parent and just cleaned up. We should have done that.
That's amazing.
Next year. Next year.
She also
incredible.
mentions film-wise Hocus Pocus, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Never seen it.
Have you not?
It's a
You're
fantastic...
so fucking weird. It's
we should. That's a fantastic film.
as blows, but it's good.
we
it's
don't
not-
we done
it's not great,
Beetlejuice
but
and Hocus Pocus this year.
Oh, fucking love
No, Beetlejuice is great, but Hocus Pocus is not a good film.
Doesn't hold
but
up
I like
well,
it. Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Neither does
Okay.
Batman. Have you seen Batman
Yeah,
recently?
it
does
that's-
not hold
I
up
would've
well.
Talking
said-
of Tim Burton films in the 80s.
I would have said Beetlejuice would hold up more than Batman.
Beetlejuice
definitely does,
definitely
yeah.
holds
the,
up.
the visual effects and stuff in it.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
really
They were
bad,
always
but
bad.
Yeah.
Uh,
But they
Or
have
at
a
least
charm
the
onto
sand
they have a charm
snake
onto
things.
themselves, kind of. You know what I
no,
mean?
they do. They definitely do. Rosie says, good feel Halloween movies like Hocus Pocus and wine. Ignore the doorbell and eat all the treats that were meant for trick-or-treaters. Pass out from drinking too much wine at 10 p.m. and go to sleep.
Mm.
It's basically what happened.
Yeah.
That was my Halloween.
I don't remember too much wine.
It's about 90% close to it.
Yeah.
It was actually 9:30, not 10.
Yeah.
The doorbell
We
rings.
actually still have some treats still in the fridge, some of the chocolate bars.
Let's get down with the break.
Yeah, we have some buttons.
I would
Yeah.
bet Halloween is the time of year where the bell gets used more times than like the rest of the year.
Yeah, I wish I could disconnect it. Because there's no
We
other
did.
knocker on the door.
Ours is
Oh,
just
really?
a plug-in one. But also, our freaky dog freaks out at the doorbell, so it's the
Yeah.
worst night of the year for him because of fireworks and doorbells.
Our doorbell is confusing because sometimes like it's
You have to answer a riddle to
It's,
be
yeah,
able to press it.
when you press the doorbell, it goes. What was that?
that would be a great doorbell. But no, like what it does, it just plays a random sort of song. But sometimes every so often there'll be a Christmas jingle. It's like, Martin, it's July. Would you not fix this fucking thing? I just broke my headphones.
I think the weirdest one I ever had was in Oakwood. We always knew the bell was broken,
Mhm.
and it is broken. Like up on the thing, it was
I
broken.
remember this.
And one random, we had ordered takeaway.
Uh-huh.
We were all
we
like,
had
oh yeah,
tape
ring.
over it to cover the whole thing up.
Yeah, there was loads of tape all over that
Yeah.
thing. It was like with an X in black tape, saying like as if
Do not use the
do
doorbell.
not use.
It's fucking broken,
You
dude.
know. And we're all sitting in the sitting room, and suddenly this bell, like an old 1940s school bell, goes off, and we're like, "The fuck is that?"
We thought it was like the fire alarm or something. We didn't know what was going
I went
on.
out to the hallway, and there's this sick-sounding bell. It's almost like as if the metal inside the bell
That's
is going
rusted,
around and
yeah.
rusted. We're like, what the fuck is going on? We answered the door, and I think the guy looked a bit scared. We're like, sorry, we just didn't know we had a bell.
It never worked
Never-
after that. We
never worked
it
again.
Never worked again.
God was
Again.
like,
In fact,
they
as,
need their takeaway.
Yeah.
as soon as he left, we waited until he left, and
You
then
burned
all
the
went
house down.
all went outside to try the bell, and it didn't work.
Press the button from like slightly different angles, more pressure, less pressure. You know, double taps.
Got out the whiteboard, got out the abacus.
Yeah.
Like Doc Brown frantically trying to work
It
out.
had one
the
charge in
fuck?
it, one
was it,
charge,
yeah.
and that was it. That was it.
There was something in that guy's finger.
Yeah.
Fuck me, that was
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, it was
Um,
freaky.
Yeah,
Hmm.
there was no bell until we bought a bell.
Hmm.
Eventually, me and Adele bought one. Do you remember?
Oh, you just bought one. You found one somewhere for like £10 or something.
We didn't
Some
find it. We bought it
bin.
for $8. It was better than having no fucking bell, like you chumps.
We didn't need
We
one.
have a bell.
Have we got more comments?
No, we don't. No, that's all.
Okay. Does that wrap us
5 of them.
up then?
I think it pretty much
I
does.
think it does. Yeah, I think we're good for the second part.
Other than the fact that she's just one more tradition from around the world.
Oh,
Okay.
Day of Dracula, which is in Romania. So again, somebody's robbing from us. People from all around the world flock to celebrate Halloween.
Oh yeah, good old Bram.
At Vlad the Impaler, At Vlad the Impaler's, Vlad the Impaler TP's,
Vlad the
purported
Impaler,
home
isn't he from Cork?
at Bran Castle in Transylvania, Romania. But yeah,
Well, Dracula the
It's
story is from
He's from y'all.
Bram Stoker. But isn't Vlad the Impaler a historical
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Romanian figure that
Yeah.
but
people
again,
often
But I think
attribute
they
as
just
being
decided to make like a megalodon versus super fucking alligator type combo in a book. Just we
He
will have
used the name.
Dracula come over and face
and fists.
It must
our
be one of those
biggest
things.
hero ever.
Stegosaurus.
I just find it funny, like if Vlad.
Do I have to
Vlad
confiscate
the
your phone?
Impaler
Ian?
literally was alive,
No, shut
like say he was alive today, or able to see his legacy. It's like he was a war chief. He had he killed so many people in such horrible ways, and he goes, "Am I only remembered for being some fucking vampire biting fuck?"
Yeah.
It's like pretty much that's the only reason people know the name Vlad. I'm
Well,
sorry.
isn't there? Is it
Like-
the band
Why do they
Guar
call
have
him
a
the
son?
Impaler?
Oh, that's actually from the real Vlad. That's actually something he used to put people's heads on spikes outside his house. There's a famous
crap Kasabian song, isn't there?
Well, there's a Guar tune
I assume it's
called
called
Vlad the Impaler as well.
Terrible.
Vlad the Impaler.
all right,
It's ridiculous
Yeah.
because they wear suits. It's Halloween all year round for them.
Does that wrap us up for the week?
I think it does.
So next week,
next week we're doing Borat.
or
What's the full name of the film?
Borat, Cultural Learnings for America. Borat, Cultural Learnings of America from Make a Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
It's definitely
Damn.
not going to fit on my
it's not
sign
going to
up
fit
there.
on the
Yeah,
sign.
No,
that's
it's
not.
not.
Borat will, but that's about it.
I can't tell how much you guys are joking or how much you actually dislike
You'll
the
have to
movie,
wait till
but,
next week.
I
I
will
mean,
tell
look-
you now, this is my podcast review of that movie in one word.
Oh god,
Bollocks.
Really? Well, I mean,
Okay.
it's. I presume it's been a minute since you've seen it as well. So
So tune in next week
I mean-
when
Where we
these
will
two are
listen
going to
to
come
that.
to fist fight.
I can't wait.
No,
to
no,
see this.
like, I mean-
Ken's taking my spot. I'll
Ken
do the
mic
camera.
it on the table
Yeah.
and just be like, it's bollocks.
look, fuck it. It is what it is. Like, I mean, we pissed all over Short Circuit the other week.
Yeah,
two
you
love
did.
that.
And he's
I mean,
enjoyed it.
if-
He's absolute bag of dicks.
Look, we're not going to change your opinion on Short Circuit, are we?
No, you're not.
You're not going to change
Then
my
it
opinion on
doesn't
Borat.
matter.
Fuck
It
no.
doesn't matter. Like this, it makes for a lovelier discussion. So hopefully we'll get bants.
So
out
if
of
I
it.
like it and you don't like it, obviously you're right, right?
no, well, no. Not
You
the
sure about that?
opinions.
I don't even- I don't
You
even-
Sure
prick?
about that, you prick?
Question of the
Roll
week
up
for
the
next week.
sleeves. I just thought of one about 30 seconds ago.
Okay.
Worst Sash and Baron Cohen movie. All of them.
Do we have time to go through his
Hey,
anthology?
Talladega Nights is a good film.
I love
Uh,
that film, and he is good in that.
Jesus Christ, lads! The idea I had for question of the week was just something on mockumentaries, just mockumentaries in general,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
or something like that.
We'll figure out the word and I'll post it to Facebook.
Yeah. So if you want to contact us, you can. And I keep having to hesitate and just not use my
If you
fucking
can.
work email address. So you can find us on Twitter at Preachin Pod. You can find us on Facebook. Just search for Preachin on Preacher and you'll find us there. You can listen to all of our back episodes on preachinonpreacher.com. You can listen to us on Mixcloud. You can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube. And you can email us on preachinonpreacher@gmail.com. That is it, I believe.
Beautiful.
I think so, yeah.
So
As always, a pleasure, gents.
yeah, it's
Yes.
been real. It's been emotional.
It's been
Happy
alright.
Halloween!
Keep on preaching.
It's been dead for 70 years.
I was going to try turn the lights to red, but it definitely won't have an effect.
Should we do the Monster Mash as we go out?
No,
What's the monster mash?
I have
It's a
no
terrible-
idea.
There's a dance for the monster
Oh,
mash?
you do true.
Well, it's about a song, isn't it?
better than the fucking Monster Mash. Anyway, that's what it is.
They did the mash.
He did the monster mash.
It was a
What was
graveyard
the
smash.
It was a graveyard smash.
I was working late in lab one night.
Fade.
Now you're starting to sound like Vlad the Impaler.
I became a shit Kasabian song. Right, I'll see you guys next week. Keep on preaching.